Welcome to Twitch, Ring City, USA. Another exciting night from the island of Puerto Rico. Brian Campbell, Bob Papa, the champ Sean Porter. Welcome to Inside the Ropes, your post show. We want this to be as interactive as possible as we break down what we saw tonight. So send in your comments and your questions. We'll address those. But fellas, you want to talk about the theater that the boxing ring is and what it can create 2 consecutive weeks in a main event. Yeah, we get, I don't know, an underdog rallying back down on the scorecards with a knockout victory.
Yeah, and you know, as we climb into the ring, you realize how small this ring is, which means anyone, anytime, anywhere, and anything can happen. And we certainly saw that tonight. And, you know, I give Fierro so much credit because you take this fight on short notice. You're coming into Machado's backyard. He's the former world champion. He said he was preparing for a fight in Tijuana. Lucky for the guy he was supposed to fight in Tijuana that he didn't fight him because it could have been ugly. But, you know, to bounce off the canvas twice and do what he did, Sean, pretty impressive.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's the term we use in boxing, and I think that is the model, the creed that Angel Fierro follows. And to see him coming here tonight, it's kind of small.
It is
here.
small. Right?
I mean, I'm sitting where the first knockdown was. The second knockdown was over there, and you know we're sitting over there, and we're thinking, is it going to be it this soon? I knew what Fierro had. I knew he likes action. I'm not saying those knockdowns woke him up, but it didn't bother him because that's what he's about. And for him to come back, 2-3 rounds later and end it the way that he did was amazing.
And you never know what you're going to get for a fighter on late notice, and Fierro just did not have the experience of a world champion like Machado. And, you know, to remove the fourth wall for a second, we watched the tape coming in wondering what's he going to look like. I don't know if I saw some of that same speed in there. In fact, some of the videos we're watching are fan cameras from the crowd. He had never been on this level, but he backed up everything he'd said to us in the fighter meeting about his toughness and what he expected in this fight.
All right, PC, I want to ask you about Alberto Machado, the former 130-pound world champion that just went over and congratulated Fierro. You know, how concerned would you be in the fact that he has now been stopped in 3 of his last 4 fights? The body shots are what turned this fight around, at least in my opinion, right? When we got to round number 4, he started to get his way inside and dig to Machado's body, and you know, I think there's got to be some real concerns now about Machado.
I'd be legitimately concerned. Obviously, he's at an age where he's still in his physical prime. But 3 losses in 4 fights, all by knockouts, and that one victory in somewhat of a get-well fight, he got hurt. He had to rally back and score the early knockdown in round 2. So I'm not concerned that his career's over. But when I made that sort of comparison to I want to say the great Juan Manuel Lopez, a multi-division champion for Puerto Rico, an excellent knockout puncher, but a guy in his own prime got a little too reckless and offensive, and suddenly that prime was over. I think you saw Machado's aggressiveness early when he had control, but Sean, he's going to have to figure out how to be defensive when things get hard in there.
And there's 2 things to be concerned about, because when you lose 3 fights by knockout, physically, how are you now at this point because of those knockouts? Have they had an effect on you? We do have to be concerned about that. But beyond that, how are you mentally after those losses? Once the firefight starts, like, where are you going to go mentally when that happens? And I got a feeling that that's what happened tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights again from this fight between Fierro and Machado. And Machado was, you know, he came out, he used distance, and Sean, like what you saw, good straight punches, and he was able to land his power shots and blind Fierro with the right hand.
Yeah, I saw everything I expected to see from Alberto Machado in this fight. I saw big early knockouts that I didn't necessarily expect, but I knew he had the ability to do that. And it was all set up because of his straight punching ability and his precision. Right here we see a left hand and a right hook that landed beautifully right on the chin of Angel Fierro. Most guys don't get up from punches like that. But for Angel to get up, battle back, find some momentum of his own, keep that foot on the gas pedal the way that he did for rounds 4, rounds 5.
Yeah, and it was that body work that really kind of turned this fight around. I mean, look at the hooks to the body, and then, you know, he goes upstairs and it looked like Machado never saw the left hand.
And I really want to know what happened in the corner of Machado between after round 4, because he lost that round, but then he comes out with the same type of energy in round 5. What happened? Did they pull him back and thinking that he was going to go rounds? And, what happened,
Well, let's find out what's going on with Alberto Machado as we take you backstage and welcome in Kern.
I'm here with Alberto Machado. Alberto, before we talk about the fight, obviously you just went through that knockout. How are you feeling right now physically?
Antes de hablar de la pelea, ¿cómo te sientes físicamente?
Sí, me siento bien, estoy muy bien, estoy consciente de todo lo que pasó en la pelea.
I'm fine. I feel good. I already saw the doctor. I feel fine.
Early in that fight, of course, you knocked him down in round 1, knocked him down in round 2. It seemed like the right hook was working for you. What did you find early in that fight to have success?
Lo tumbaste temprano en la pelea, en el primer asalto, en el segundo asalto. ¿Qué fue lo que viste para tener éxito en el combate al principio de la pelea?
Mira, él es un peleador, ¿verdad? Que le gusta el intercambio, ¿verdad? Y nosotros pues estamos midiendo, ¿verdad? Con ambas manos. O sea, con ambas manos, y la mano mía de frente es mi mano fuerte. Yo también pego duro con las dos manos, con la de atrás, pero con la mano de frente pues estaba entrando muy bien y ahí fueron las dos caídas que vinieron.
I hit pretty hard with both hands, but my lead hand is my strongest one. I was getting that lead hand in. That's the strongest one I have, and that's where I was having success.
You were having success in the early rounds, round 1 and 2. It seemed like round 4 is when Fierro started to come on, landing some shots to the body and able to have some success of his own. Did you feel the momentum changing at all in round 4?
Algo cambió en el cuarto asalto. Él empezó a conectar al cuerpo. ¿Sentiste que el ritmo cambió en ese momento en la pelea?
No, definitivamente no. La mano con la que él me llegó muy bien. O sea, pero el ritmo, yo entiendo que todo iba corriendo, ¿verdad? No, de acuerdo a como fueron los primeros 2-3 asaltos. Pero definitivamente esa mano que me entró, ¿verdad? Me entró muy bien, que esa mano que aquí detrás en el oído es mala y fue un buen golpe.
No, it wasn't that. The shot that he hit me with was just a good shot. I had the rhythm going early on. It wasn't a question of me just losing focus or anything. It's just the shot landed, hit me behind the ear. You lose your equilibrium, and that's what changed the whole fight.
Sean Porter just asked, he wanted to know what happened in the corner. What were the instructions after round 4? Because in round 5, you seem to have some more energy. What were the instructions after round 4?
¿Cuáles fueron las instrucciones en tu esquina después del cuarto asalto? ¿Qué te dijeron entre el cuarto y quinto asalto?
Nada, que continuar con mi boxeo, ¿verdad? Usar la distancia. Él iba a venir hacia frente, ¿verdad? Esas dos manos que entraron muy bien. Y nada, que sigue haciendo mi trabajo, como lo estaba haciendo. Pero definitivamente, ¿verdad? Él tuvo un buen momento y supo aprovecharlo.
They basically kept telling me to keep working that lead hand. He was coming forward, get that lead hand in. I was doing very well, and they told me just continue waiting for him to come in, counter with that lead hand. And like I said, the shot landed, and that's what changed everything.
It was a fantastic fight with tons of ebbs and flows going back and forth. In the end, round 6 is when he caught you with the left hook. Did you see the punch coming? What do you remember about round 6?
Cambió el ritmo muchas veces en la pelea a favor de él, a favor tuyo. ¿Qué sentiste que cambió en el sexto asalto? ¿Sentiste el golpe?
Sí, ese golpe definitivamente fue un buen golpe, ¿verdad? En la parte de la oreja, que son los golpes, ¿verdad? Que son más malos en esto del boxeo. Y definitivamente él pasó un momento y supo aprovecharlo.
Yeah, exactly what happened was he hit me right behind the ear. It was a good punch. Those are the most dangerous punches in boxing. You usually equilibrium. He saw the shot, he took advantage of it, and he got away with the victory.
We spoke about Mexico versus Puerto Rico, and I know it was important for you to defend your island here. Obviously, you came up short tonight. Was this loss extra hard because it did happen at home in Puerto Rico?
Obviamente hablamos de la rivalidad entre México y Puerto Rico. Tú hablaste que es tu deber defender la isla. ¿Qué sientes tal vez porque no se pudo esta noche en esta rivalidad de México y Puerto Rico?
Me siento muy bien porque lo di todo encima del ring. O sea, lo di todo encima del ring, pero simplemente tuve mi momento y él tuvo el momento de él y supo aprovecharlo. ¿Sabes? Soy un guerrero, practico el boxeo desde los 11 años y definitivamente que me estoy muy orgulloso de mí mismo por todo lo que he logrado.
I feel good about myself. I gave everything I had. He gave everything he had. We're two warriors up inside this ring, and I feel good about myself. I gave everything I possibly could, and he just came away with the victory.
Alberto, you're certainly a warrior. You always give their fans their money's worth. I know you'll be back. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Alberto. Eres un guerrero.
Gracias. Gracias por la oportunidad.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Karen. And, listen, the bottom line here, guys, is this. Whoever he goes into the ring with in the future, they're going to go after his body because the body punches in the 4th round and then the 5th round led to what happened in the 6th round. It slowed down Machado, who was controlling things through the first 3.
Yeah, I think if anything, coaches are going to say if you can hit him you can hurt him and get him out of there. And so I think that not only because we saw him get hurt to the body, but we saw him be finished to the head. And so I think he's been extremely exposed to this point.
And now it's not the weight thing either, cutting the weight to 130 because this was at 135.
Well, I'll give him a positive.
Bob said no excuses.
Look, you show a video of the first 4 rounds. He looked absolutely spectacular. I love how he looked at lightweight. I love the way, without that hard weight cut, it looked for his body. I like the jab early to set up the power shots. That's certainly one part of his game that went away as this fight progressed. I wonder if, he smelt the knockout. And he was a little too focused on cornering Fierro and going for that, maybe forgetting the fundamentals that got him in there.
Well, to speak to it, the coaches said that they told him to wait on Fierro to come in. That wasn't what was effective. That wasn't what was working early on in the fight.
No, the first 3 rounds, he was dictating.
Stay with that. That's why I said, BC, what changed? And I knew that it had to be something in the corner that either was said or wasn't said. But the coaches are saying we told him to wait for Fierro to come in and catch him coming in. It wasn't a good adjustment.
And we certainly encourage everyone watching on Twitch to send in your questions, your comments. We want to hear your voice about this card. And Sean, Boxing Fanaticos basically asked us, Ring City USA, can we expect explosive fights just like these the past 2 weeks at every single Ring City event moving forward?
Yes. Simple answer. Yes. Where's the camera?
I saw on Twitter Rosie Perez liked what was going on.
I think the buzz is starting to spread, and look, 2 out of 3 in Puerto Rico have been fantastic. Can't wait for next week. But I did want to get into this opening bout of the evening, the first Mexico versus Puerto Rico fight that we saw. The bantamweights brought it for 10 rounds when Puerto Rico's Jose Martinez exchanged punches on the inside with Israel Gonzalez. In the end, gentlemen, it goes down as a majority decision. We don't have a winner. And Rage24 asked, but Bob, I want to get your take on this. Did Higa, who of course is Israel Gonzalez, did he get a raw deal on the scorecards in your opinion?
Yes, he did. Steve Smoger's scorecard had it in favor of Gonzalez. I had it in favor of Gonzalez. I thought he carried the fight. I thought he was the sharper of the 2 punchers. I thought, he went out and he won the first couple rounds, and then Martinez came back strong in rounds 4, 5, and 6, which I gave Martinez those rounds. But I thought at the end Gonzalez was applying the pressure, the sharper of the punchers, and quite honestly, I don't know how that was a majority draw.
Well, Fabotron 9000. Fabotron 9000 is at home agreeing that Gonzalez got robbed. I don't agree. I had it 6 rounds to 4 for Gonzalez. But one thing I want to ask you, Sean, because you're a fighter, you deal with the pressure.
That's not a draw last time I checked.
Okay, but what I'm saying, it was a close fight.
One round, yeah.
But here's the deal. It's similar to baseball. Umpires have a different strike zone. We know judges look for different things. There's a 5 category system in how you should score a fight. But some favor just simply being the aggressor and coming forward. It comes down to ring generalship. Do you think in this case, maybe Steve Smoger's strike zone a little bit different than the 3 judges that were here, and they favored Martinez's constant pressure?
Well, I'm going to go on record for saying I think the number one thing that it was not a hometown decision to make this a draw. I don't think it was a hometown decision. I think the judges saw that Martinez was trying to press forward, trying to take the action to Gonzalez, and may have overlooked that even though Gonzalez was moving a lot and being very defensive, clinching, holding a little here and there, he still had the more effective punches being landed, and the work rate was even higher and better for Gonzalez as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's still about the work rate, and it's about the accuracy of the punches, the more defining punches, and I don't think you could watch that fight over and over again and say that Gonzalez wasn't the crisper of the 2 over the balance of 10 rounds.
He was.
And certainly, look, we had no scoring issues and a great women's fight on our broadcast tonight. And it was interesting to see the underdog put on the pressure and push the pace of the fight. And you saw Maricela Cornejo, who maybe we thought coming in had some certain advantages, but it was such an emotional, aggressive performance from Alma Ibarra, pushing that pace and having her moment and knowing her story of what she went through. And Sean, Marco in our chat loved that she called out welterweight champion Jessica McCaskill afterwards. Do you think that not only is a good fight for her, but the kind of fight she could get for getting a win on this level of a platform?
Absolutely. I think that she did the right things. And the thing with the boxing, my dad always says the boxing will tell the truth. Boxing showed exactly who Alma is as a person and as a fighter. She came out here and she showed it all against a worthy opponent in Cornejo, and I think that she's ready for the next movement.
Yeah, and even though Cornejo, had the more pro fights, let's not forget that Ibarra had 80 amateur fights. So she's been at it, and this is what she didn't just get into boxing as a path to somewhere else.
Yeah.
She's in boxing because that was her path from the very beginning. Let's go over to Karen.
Thanks, Bob. Here with Alma Ibarra, who of course defeated Maricela Cornejo today. Alma, you were able to work your jab, able to do what you wanted in there. What did you feel like? What did you think of your performance?
Alma, pudiste trabajar el jab, hiciste básicamente lo que querías, peleaste a gusto. ¿Cómo sentiste tu presentación esta noche?
La verdad, yo llegaba a la esquina y yo sentía que algo estaba haciendo mal, pero bueno, me dio la confianza el trabajo y para ser sinceros, fue lo mismo que trabajé aquí, fue lo mismo que trabajamos en toda la preparación y por eso me sentí cómoda.
To be honest with you, when I would go back to the corner, I thought, I'm doing something wrong. I must be doing something wrong. But the work seemed to speak for itself. And to be honest with you, everything we did inside the ring is exactly what we worked in the gym, and the results show for themselves.
You decided to come up 2 weight classes for this challenge. Why did you decide to do that?
Subiste 2 categorías para este reto. ¿Por qué?
Sabíamos lo que implicaba pelear contra el nombre de Maricela Cornejo, las oportunidades que nos podía abrir, ganar esta pelea. Nos arriesgamos a tomarla y creo que no nos equivocamos.
We knew the significance of fighting someone with the name of like Maricela Cornejo. We knew it was a big risk, but we also knew the rewards that came along with it. We took advantage of it, and the results showed tonight.
You certainly took advantage of it. We saw you in the locker room area, very emotional, tears coming out. Why were you so emotional after this win?
Te vimos después de la pelea, muchas emociones, muchas lágrimas. ¿Por qué tanta emoción?
Trabajé muy duro, la verdad trabajé muy duro para esta preparación. Fueron alrededor de 2 meses y medio para esta pelea. Estuve muchas semanas lejos de mi hijo, entrenando en otra ciudad. Y bueno, todo el trabajo duro que hice, al final salió y por eso mi emoción, porque sé que después de esto van a venir grandes cosas para nosotros.
I worked really hard, almost 2.5 months worth of preparation. I trained away far from my son, a long time away from him, and it was just a lot of hard work, and that's why you saw the emotion. I knew what I had put into it, and that's why you saw the tears after the fight.
You mentioned your son usually doesn't watch your fights because last time he did, he ran up into his room and locked the door. He watched this fight. Have you spoken to him yet?
Mencionaste que tu hijo por lo regular no ve las peleas. ¿Vio esta pelea y hablaste con él?
Sí, tuve oportunidad de hablar con él y pues sí, me comentó que sí vio la pelea esta ocasión.
Yeah, I spoke with him a little while ago, and he did make the comment, yeah, I saw the fight, Mom, I saw the fight.
You called out Jessica McCaskill after this win. You want to go back down to 147 pounds. Of course, Jessica McCaskill just defeated Cecilia Breikhaus again to reclaim her unified championship. Why do you want Jessica McCaskill, and why do you think that'll be a good matchup?
Le lanzaste un reto a Jessica McCaskill después de la pelea. ¿Por qué quieres bajar a 147 y por qué es importante pelear con ella?
147 es mi división. Yo subí 2 divisiones para esta pelea, para que me conociera, para que el mundo supiera quién es Alma Ibarra. Entonces, lo mejor y lo ideal es bajar a mi categoría. Y si no quieren darme la oportunidad directamente con Jessica y creen que tengo que ganarme oportunidad en esa división, estoy dispuesta a pelear con Cecilia Breikhaus. Es un sueño que siempre he tenido. Entonces, ¿por qué no?
147 is my weight class. I jumped up 2 weight classes basically because it was a good opportunity. I wanted people to know the name Alma Ibarra, and that's why I took the chance. And I would like to fight McCaskill because I believe that's a big challenge. If they don't feel that I've earned it at 147, let me fight Breikhaus. That is one of my dream matchups. I'll fight her if they need me to.
You've certainly earned the opportunity with Breikhaus or McCaskill or anyone in the 147-pound division. We talked about earlier the traumatic event that you went through in terms of a kidnapping. You were kidnapped for over 24 hours, and that case is still under investigation. You call this win now a second chance at life. So how do you put that into context, everything you went through and now having this huge win on a big stage?
Obviamente te mereces la oportunidad en contra de cualquier rival en esta división. Hablamos de la experiencia traumática que tuviste con el secuestro. Tú dijiste que esta era como un renacimiento para ti después de esta pelea. ¿Qué sientes después de este combate y cómo te afectó?
Por eso salí tan decidida en este combate. Después de lo del secuestro, como dices, es una segunda oportunidad de vivir y eso es lo que me gusta hacer, esto es a lo que me dedico. Entonces, salir de esa manera en el ring después de lo que pasé, subir a ese ring después de eso, no es nada para mí.
It's exactly what you said. It's a rebirth. After what I went through, it's something that going into the ring, it's almost nothing. I live for this. I love the sport. This is what I live for. So today, it was like nothing after going through that rough experience.
Alma Ibarra, congratulations and thank you.
Felicidades, Alma. Gracias.
Gracias.
Back to you guys.
All right, guys, look, we're on Twitch. We're inside the ropes. We're just freewheeling it here.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. You know why she called him out? It's going to be a heck of a payday for her. She's 8-1. She's been fighting as an amateur. She's at 80 amateur fights. She's a single mom. She's been through so many hardships. You're damn right she's calling out the top people at that weight class. She wants to get paid.
Absolutely, but you also have to keep in mind that she believes in herself.
Yeah.
And believes that she can make it happen.
And as she said, she wants people to know her name. They will now. And oh, by the way, can we get a screenwriter to finish off that kidnapping story? It was the night before the Mexican Olympic trials. It prevented her from trying to qualify for the Team Wild story.
And then when they notified the Mexican Olympic officials, she didn't show. They're like, well, can we reschedule? She was kidnapped. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But final question I do want to read here from our viewers, and they've been flooding them in, so we appreciate that. I love the backdrop tonight, guys, here in Salinas, Puerto Rico. The mountains, the palm trees, the falling leaves and flowers into the ring to start the main event. Nature had its way here, and we enjoyed that. Roscoe Nader wants to know, can we do Ring City on top of a building one day? Hey, Bob, next week, we're not going to be on top of a building, but it may be our best location yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be in Old San Juan, and it's going to be pretty awesome. And Ring City, USA continues to come up with very creative locations. And that makes it fun. That, especially with no fans, it creates a cool atmosphere. And hopefully we're able to tell the story of Puerto Rico and Mexico and the rivalry with great action for you tonight.
It really showed up tonight. That rivalry really showed up tonight in a big way. Ring City, USA is doing some amazing things. NBCSN's right behind them, and I'm a fan.
And you need the fights, though. You need the fights to deliver.
But listen, we're gonna be in Puerto Rico again a week from tonight. Although on the East Coast it's past midnight, so a week from yesterday. What about we have coming up next week? There's gonna be a ring there. That's the other thing. We did it in a roundabout, Olympic Training Center. Now we're going to do it in a parking lot.
And the ocean is just a few steps away from that. Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah. But more importantly, let's talk a little bit about this main event for next week, because you have one boxer who hasn't lost in 9 years and another one who hasn't lost in 7 years. This is going to be incredible.
It really will. And one thing about Amanda Serrano is her hunger, not just to collect titles and really add to her legacy, but Sean, she had to take a fight in mixed martial arts for trying to get the payday and the exposure that she felt she wasn't getting up to that point in boxing. Now she's got an opportunity to main event national television in her home country, by the ocean. This is the real Fight Island here, by the way, not what the UFC did in the Middle East. Okay, right here. This is such a great opportunity. But what should we know about Daniela Bermudez? No slouch here.
Number one against number one, and Bermudez is a fantastic fighter. She's got skills of her own, and I don't think they've really been seen and highlighted the way that Amanda Serrano's has. So it's going to be an electric night again next week on Thursday, and I encourage everyone to tune in.
Well, Amanda Serrano is not only ready, she is honored and fired up to be the headliner in next week's Ring City, USA main event.
I'm a Puerto Rican girl, but I lived my whole life in Brooklyn, Bushwick. I just can't explain it, how every time I go to Puerto Rico, how I feel, how much pride I give Puerto Rico. To be headlining for Ring City, USA in Puerto Rico, it's gonna be a great night. I'm Amanda the Real Deal Serrano. Don't miss my big night, March 25th, when I fight Daniela Bermudez.
NBCSN at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Next Thursday night. What a performance in our main event this evening as Angel Fierro knocks out Alberto Machado at 47 seconds of round number 6. For Sean Porter, Brian Campbell, Curran Bhatia, and our entire crew, Bob Papa saying so long from Puerto Rico. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Inside the Ropes on Twitch.